This movie was about
Lights, camera, action is going down. For my ATL movies, when we run this town with your host, T-Will, yeah, keeping it real. From the A to the screen, you can feel the thrill. Rolling with the classics, we're setting the pace. Highlighting the magic of our soulful space. Got the vibe, got the crew, making it tight. When the screen lights up, everything feels right. Grab your popcorn, let's make it loud. T-Will, T-Will. It's movie time, ATL style. Stand proud. From the silver screen to the hearts we steal. T-Will, T-Will. Every frame we capture is a real deal. Yeah. Talking premieres where the stars align. ATL views, yeah, they really shine. Behind the lens, capture.
MCU movie fans, MCU TV fans, Marvel fans everywhere, fans of this show for my ATL movies. It's your host, T. Will, with my guy, Jordan Burton. And we're back again. Today, Jordan, we are talking Daredevil Season 2. Oh, yeah. And let's talk about it, man. How goes it, Jordan? All well?
All is well. How are you doing?
Man, I can't complain. It wouldn't matter if I did. Just enjoying this Saturday, man. Beautiful weather outside. Got a chance to get out a little bit and take care of the honeydew list. Let me stop lying. I had a list and she had a list. I took care of both of them. Let me be honest. But no, all is well, man. All is well. So we are talking Daredevil Season 2. This season originated on Netflix. Great season. And today we are getting into it as part of our Doomsday Hourglass. And Jordan, as this was your creation, do you want to tell the world what the Doomsday Hourglass is and what it has to do with our shows and TV,
Yes.
and TV and
So,
movies?
so we are obviously we're rewatching all of the multiverse and in-universe connected Marvel movies, shows, special presentations, and we're reviewing those. And when we finally get done and all caught up, we will be ready for Avengers Doomsday. So think of it like an hourglass, that everything we watch is just a little piece of sand dropping in the hourglass. So by the time we are all said and done, the hourglass will be done. We will be ready for Avengers Doomsday in December.
Like sands in the hourglass, these are the days of our lives. And Jordan, don't you say a word about it because you're a hater. I love that.
Suck.
Whatever. Nobody cares. Okay. So, release date for Daredevil, March 18th, 2016 on Netflix. The showrunner was Doug Petrie and Marco Ramirez. Directors included Phil Abraham, Steven Surik, Mark Jobst, and Peter, excuse me for saying this, Hoare, spelled Hoar. Just reading it. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, main cast, Matt Murdock as Daredevil. Charlie Cox, as Matt Murdock and Daredevil. Karen Page is obviously played by Deborah Ann Wolfe. Foggy Nelson by Eldon Henson. Frank Castle / Punisher, John Berthal. Elektra Nachios, played by Elodie Young. Stick, played by Scott Glenn. And, of course, we have Wilson Fisk, Vincent D'Onofrio. And let me just say again, Wilson Fisk, the more I see him as Kingpin, just the best Kingpin ever. I mean, wow. Even in this, and even though he has he's only in like 1 or 2 episodes, what a performance. What a performance. Just wow. So anyway, season 2 begins with Hell's Kitchen still recovering from the events of season 1. Matt Murdock continues balancing his life as a lawyer with his secret identity as Daredevil, but the arrival of a mysterious vigilante known as the Punisher basically changes everything, Jordan. Frank Castle begins executing criminals across the city, forcing Daredevil to confront a disturbing question. Is his version of justice too soft for a city this broken? And this is the first thing I want to talk about, my friends, because you know what? It's one thing if you don't want to kill some kids that are stealing a car. It's another thing you don't want to kill a guy in a bar fight that's just upset. But Jordan, I got to be honest with you. If you are taking on 15 ninjas, you're probably going to have to kill some of them, Jordan, because you know what? They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And you're probably not going to be able to knock everybody out. So if it were me and I'm fighting ninjas, somebody's going to die. Okay? Because I don't have time to worry about you coming back. Now, where are you on this spectrum pertaining to justice? And again, I understand when you're talking about a garden variety guy who robbed a store, or somebody who's trying to steal a car, or somebody who's fighting you but poses no threat. But when you are taking on ninjas who are trained to kill, mind you, okay, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, this is the moral dilemma, and this is why everybody has different like favorite Marvel characters, or not even Marvel, but just like DC characters, comic book characters in general, or their favorite just TV show characters, favorite movie characters. Some have ones that are relentless and ruthless, like the Punisher, that are just willing to kill anyone. And some have a moral code like Daredevil, where they don't want to kill anybody.
Right.
And it's, for me, I like the characters more that have that moral code, because it means that, because at what point do you cross the line? That's a question I've always, like, if I mean, obviously the Punisher not real, but if I'm Matt in this situation, I would say, at what point do you cross that line to killing? Right. Because it feels like you over time you could extend that, and that's some of the issues with Batman. When you go into further projects with Batman, whether that's the animated shows or the movies or even the comic books, eventually Batman at some points kills, and he'll kill, but then he'll keep killing off of crimes and weaker crimes, and it's like, and by that point he realizes, maybe I should retire, and that's how we get Batman Beyond.
Right.
So I like, that's what I love about Batman, is that he introduces that idea that I would like to present if I was Matt. It's like, at what point do you cross that line?
Yeah.
Look, I love the Punisher. Love John Bernthal, especially as the Punisher. I mean, I bought this shirt in preparation for when Daredevil Born Again season 1 came out. When I heard John Bernthal was back, I knew I was ready. That's that's the best version of the Punisher. In my opinion, there's no way we can get a better version of the Punisher. There's like a twitchiness that John Bernthal brings to the role, and it's something that's like, it's the military background on top of that twitchiness, so that you can see the PTSD in the way he's acting, and it is amazing acting. And also when he says, he's always got something to say. He's always like, let me tell you something, Red, let me tell you this. There are videos that I send to people where it's just like John Bernthal in all these different roles and different movies and shows, where he's like, let me tell you something, let me tell you something, let me tell you something. He's always got something to say. But I love everything that John Bernthal brings to this role. And I love the relentlessness that he has in this role. And when he's quiet and he's thinking, that's when you know something's up. That's when you know he's going to be doing something crazy. I love like the backstory behind his Punisher, but even though I love all of that about him,
mm-hmm.
there's a line I draw with how much I like him. Like I'm not going to put him anywhere near Spider-Man because Spider-Man has that moral code. While Spider-Man doesn't inherently say he doesn't kill, he's literally your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Why would a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man kill someone? And I mean, if you look at any of the movies, you look at Spider-Man 1, I mean, he didn't kill the Goblin. Goblin killed himself. He didn't kill Doc Ock. Doc Ock killed himself. In Spider-Man 3, he tries to kill the symbiote. So he doesn't try to kill a person, but that's when Eddie Brock jumps in, and because he's like addicted to the Venom symbiote and kills himself. A lot of just killing of people's selves in Sam Raimi's trilogy. In the Amazing Spider-Man 1, Lizard doesn't die, he just goes to prison. In the Amazing Spider-Man 2, Goblin doesn't die. Electro, I don't really know. We don't really fully know what happened to Electro. Whether
he just kind of faded to black. I'm sure he'll be back. I'm sure he'll be back.
Well, and it's kind of hinted at in No Way Home that he did die, but I'm like, I don't think the intention was to kill him. It's just he wasn't a human being at that point. He was just like all power.
Right.
So in Spider-Man Homecoming, Vulture goes to prison. Spider-Man Far From Home. I mean, Mysterio ends up getting shot by his own gun, by his own bullets. And then in Spider-Man No Way Home, like all the villains just go back to their universes. So, like, Spider-Man doesn't kill. And if he does, that's saying something. There are some comic books where he does, and yeah, that's great. But that's what I love the most about Spider-Man is that moral code, because it's an added layer to a character. Like, why do they have that moral code? Batman has that for his own specific reasons. Daredevil has that for his religious reasons. And I love the conversations that Matt and Frank Castle have on like the rooftop, that like Frank was a bit religious, but he went through life and it's not that he is or isn't religious, he just doesn't think about that anymore. He's moved on with his life. And Matt is very religious, so that is a part of Daredevil inherently, but it's not anything a part of the Punisher at all. So this whole debate is so interesting to me. I like having a moral code. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think you should be killing anyone. But if you have to, you have to. It's sort of thing like Spider-Man. That's what I love.
Let me tell you how I feel about it. Yeah. Spider-Man probably uses 20% of his powers when fighting, folks. He is an extremely powerful being. Mm-hmm. So him not killing whoop-de-doo, he's probably stronger than most of the people that challenge him. If Spider-Man hits somebody 100%, he's gonna kill him. We've seen that, right? That's one. Matt is not that powerful. Matt can be killed. And if you got ninjas, again, I'm not talking about an everyday Mo. I'm not talking about somebody that you're fighting that is not as a prodigious fighter as these guys can slow down their heartbeats. They have body control. Like, these are trained killers. And I'm sorry, Jordan. I'm not gonna take a chance that you're gonna come back. That was the one thing I didn't like about it, because it's like, oh no, Elektra, don't kill, and he ended up getting her stabbed. Elektra, wait, no, I just got to be honest.
Here's an interesting idea. So, you group like all the ninjas together, but right. Even though it's possible they all grew up in different parts of the world, and then they just all came and
Right.
trained under the same area, so you don't know each individual ninja. You saw Star Wars: The Force Awakens,
Mm-hmm.
and how Finn was a stormtrooper, and then it like clicks in his head that maybe this is the wrong thing. Do you think that maybe one of these ninjas, one at minimum, maybe two, maybe three, maybe 10, maybe all of them, maybe have that sort of dilemma, but it's like they can't get out of it. So it, like even Matt says about the one ninja, he's like, he's just a kid, and that's when Elektra stabs him. Like before,
that one got me because wow, she cut his throat like it was nothing.
Yeah, exactly. But he's just the kid, and that's where. That's where it's like, where do we draw the? That's the biggest question I have always for characters like the Punisher,
bro. Because I've forgotten about it, right? So I'm sitting there watching it like this, Jordan. Look at me. I'm just, I'm content, and I'm like, oh, he's a kid. Wham! And I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, you just killed this kid. Now, if it's a kid, okay, maybe not.
How do you know all of them weren't kids?
You don't. But here's the thing, Jordan. I love my wife. I love my family. Somebody come up in here threatening them, Jordan, they going down. And I don't give a damn. They're going down. They're going down. So I'm looking at it, and I hear you, but for me, if I was a hero, my creed would be, I'm going to do the best I can not to kill somebody. But if it goes there, I'm not going to give it a second thought, because that person would probably kill me. Because make no mistake about it, those ninjas are coming to kill him. They are coming to kill him. So, I found myself arguing with myself while watching this. So it is interesting because now, again, Frank Castle, nah, man, Frank, you doing too much. You doing way too much, bro. Because Frank was just he was an Amazon driver deliverer of death. Like that first scene, bro. Man, they're sitting there, and I think it's the Irish mob or whatever, and they're talking. And what's interesting is the guy who's monologuing is getting ready to hit the guy who interrupted him over the head with the bottle, and he gets hit with a whatever. I mean, it felt like Frank Castle was using a 50 caliber weapon in that scene, because those guys were just getting mowed down, like boom, boom. That was not regular artillery, in my opinion. Like, it was so heavy. You're seeing just guys get mowed down. Boom, 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 boom. And the way he does it, he's so organized. Let me tell you something. The Punisher is probably one of the most prodigious killers, not fighters, killers that I've ever seen. And but he does too much. But the thing about him is, think about it. He saw his wife and kids murdered in front of him. He's clearly damaged, and that's therapy for him, And I'm not gonna judge him. I pray to God that never comes upon me, but I'm not gonna judge him, because they're but for the grace of God, Jordan. You know what I mean? If you see your two little kids and your wife, your reason for getting up every day, your love, your hope, your future, you see that cut down in front of you, I can't judge him, man. I can't. I know it would break me. And he just got broke in that way. And the only way that he knows to deal with it is absolutely. It's like, again, what is that in DC? Injustice? Mm-hmm. Where, Joker kills Lois and Superman loses it and goes ham on the world. I gave you guys a chance, damn it. You answer to me. You know what I mean? Comes down to earth, takes his fist, punches it through Joker's chest, and says, Batman, if you weren't my best friend, I'd kill you because you should have killed him long ago. And because you didn't, this happened. But I'm letting you know, if you get in my way, and this is what we got going on. And it's a very good dynamic.
And here's the thing with the Punisher too, and he has a moral code too. He does not kill cops or military.
Right.
But he has to cross that line multiple times. And whether in future shows. And I'm like, okay, again, where does the line get drawn? Because it feels like he keeps extending the line. He keeps on doing it all the way, and we see it not just in the Punisher season 1, but all the way to Daredevil Born Again season 1, where he is killing cops. And it's like, okay, where's your moral? You keep moving the line. We keep moving the line of scrimmage. And at what point does he say to himself, maybe I need to rethink my morals? Maybe, and like, whether that's, do I kill cops or do I take a step back and not do that? And I think that would lead to a very interesting, like, you could do a movie on it. You could do like a Logan style old Punisher type movie like that. I know we're getting the Punisher presentation later this year. I have no idea what that's going to entail. I just know it's going to follow the events of Daredevil Born Again season 1. And then we're going to also see him in Spider-Man Brand New Day. So again, I don't know what his character is going to entail in that movie. So I'm very, very curious what Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be rated, because I heard it's probably going to be PG-13, and I don't know how you're going to do John Bernthal's Punisher in a PG-13 movie. And the presentation is going to be rated R. That's something John Bernthal's already confirmed. He just doesn't want to do that if it's not rated R. But I want to know, I guess, in the presentation, where is his line now? Because it has been, he's been the Punisher for now 10 years, even in the Marvel universe for 10 years. So where is he at with all of this? Because you had that moral compass that was presented to us in this season, where it's like, you don't kill cops, but you've been doing that. So where are you at with that? Again, that's why I am supportive more of those characters like Daredevil, because they don't cross that line. And Daredevil has not killed anybody. That's what made the beginning of Daredevil Born Again season 1 so crazy, is that we thought he killed someone, and he ended up not. So he has not crossed that line yet.
Yeah, but he had it coming. He killed Foggy, so whatever. I'd have dropped his ass. I wouldn't have thought it. I wouldn't have given it. You gonna kill my guy, man? That's hey man, I'm just saying. You know, I don't feel bad about it. What did the Joker say in that movie? And frankly, I'm glad you're dead. What was that, Batman 1988? I'm glad you're dead. Whatever, man. That dude killed Foggy for no reason other than to do it. I'm glad Daredevil dropped him on his behind. And hey, whatever. He had it coming. I don't. There's certain things I don't have sympathy for. If you're taking human life anyway, I am a bit of an eye for an eye. Like it is what it. I'm not saying that I'm necessarily trying to kill you. But if you happen to go down and you were killing folks anyway, and I'm trying to protect them, I'm not going to feel bad. But either way.
And that's what, for me, makes those characters who do not cross that line and have the moral compass not to kill, that makes those characters more compelling for me.
Is that realistic, though?
I think yes. I think in a way,
dealing with ninjas, is that You're talking about ninjas of the hand.
Where do we have ninjas in the real world? Where do we have ninjas or the hand in the? You're like, is that realistic? With the ninjas. Have you seen a ninja in your entire life?
I saw one.
I haven't.
I did see one.
You saw one, yeah?
I did see one.
Was it at a play or an opera? Was it at a museum? Was it like a choreographed like martial arts? And
no, I had a friend of mine. I had a friend of mine who was an actual ninja.
Get out of my face with that. There's no, no, he wasn't.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
My friend also was the Punisher. Like, yeah,
you know what? The next time I talk to Kim, I'm gonna have her talk to you about our friend who was a ninja, because I know you're not gonna believe it, but it is true. It is true. Okay.
You can study martial arts. You can study all of that, but ninja.
He was a ninja. I'm not lying about it. He was an actual ninja.
You're gonna say he did a Tai Bo or like something like that, and I'm gonna be like, okay, you know that. You know karate.
I did not say that.
You know Tai Bo, karate. You know your black belt. Okay, I get that. That doesn't make you a ninja. Just because you make your ninja stars doesn't make you a ninja. Like, what are you doing as a ninja? Are you fighting crime? Are you going out at night? Are you Batman? Like,
all
what?
ninjas don't fight crime. All ninjas don't fight crime. I'm just saying.
Okay, so he's a ninja. That's like I'm sure this is how you guys met. I'm sure he was just sitting on his couch, and you guys are watching the Falcons game, and Julio Jones just scores a touchdown. And he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm a ninja," and you're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah," and you're like, "Prove it." And he pulls out like a ninja star, throws it at his wall, and you're like, "Oh, okay." And then you continue watching the game. That's how you guys met. You guys got a ninja. Get out of my face with that. Come on.
Stop it. Stop it. You know what? The next time I see, I'm because you're not gonna believe it. I'm gonna have her talk to you, because he was a real ninja. Anyway, whatever. Let's talk about. Are you a ninja? Yeah. Hey, watch this throwing stuff. Let's talk about Karen.
I also know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Whatever. Let's talk about Karen and Matt. We see them begin to do their dance. This has been coming for a season and a half by the time they get to it. And
they make a little love and they get down tonight. Yeah.
Make a little love. Do they do a little dance as well? I don't remember.
Do they do a little dance?
They do a little
love. A little love.
Make a little love. Get down tonight. Yeah.
Get down tonight. Yeah.
You know, they kind of flirt with each other for a couple of episodes and have some kisses and, romantic interludes. And right when it's about to go down, right when he's about to close the deal, who shows up, Jordan?
Elektra
Nachios. You cannot be a fan of Daredevil and not know who Elektra Nachios is. In the comics, she's his love interest who died tragically. He doesn't really get a chance to live out his life with her because she's taken away at a very young age. But in this iteration of the story, they dated in college and, she went away and she was the one that got away. And she comes into town with new drama. She's asking for him to be an attorney, but the issue is much bigger than that. And it all but wrecks his relationship with Karen, who also is a love interest of Matt in the comics, by the way. Although I think Karen, her beginnings were totally different. I think Karen was on heroin in the comics, but anyway, it all but wrecks this relationship. Let's talk about this, because Karen is very emo. She's incredibly emo. Like, and look, I'm not defending Matt, because Matt in this season is kind of he's not juggling well. You know what I mean? He's not showing up to court. He's caught up with Elektra. He's just not. He's really bad with his responsibilities in this season. Just bad. So I can't defend him. But of course, Elektra and Matt take on some ninjas, and she gets cut because she's trying not to kill somebody because Matt's like, no. Because if he doesn't do that, Jordan, you know what? He probably goes to court the next day. Because she doesn't get stabbed with a poison sword. But anyway, he has to end up staying home because she's on the mend or whatever. And of course, Stick was also there to help rescue them. And we find out that Stick helped raise her, which I don't know that was the case in the comics. I don't know that I particularly love that element because when did he have time? Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess they were kids. He could have known them at different intervals in their life. So I shouldn't say that. But it just seemed a little weird that they were both trained by Stick. Do you know if I don't think that's the case in the comics, but do you know?
In certain iterations, yeah. And they also present that idea. They present the idea itself in the Elektra movie with I was about to say Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Gardner, yes.
That movie you love so much.
Oh yes. I love Jennifer Gardner as Elektra. It's like the flip. If everything got flipped, like I love Jennifer Gardner as Elektra. I hate everything else about that movie. I don't care. I'm gonna start off by saying I don't know if I've never seen this actress in anything else. I think maybe she could have been miscast, but I also think the writing for the character wasn't very good either. I just in general don't care for Elektra being in the middle of this season. I think this could have been a separate season, especially with all of the Punisher stuff and the Punisher elements in this season. It felt like from episodes 5 to 7, which are my lowest rated episodes, it just felt like we went on a different path, and I didn't care to follow that path whatsoever. And it ended up leading to Matt just going and doing stuff that I'm like, why are you late for this trial? Like, you are screwing over your best friends and your career right now over a girl and a stupid mission. Like, honestly, if she dies, she doesn't care about you at the end of the day. That's the whole. I didn't care for their romance whatsoever. So when she dies ultimately at the end of this season, I didn't care that much.
Shocker alert.
Like I cared more when Jennifer Gardner's Elektra died in Daredevil the movie than I did her dying in this. That says a lot, considering I have this show way higher than either the Elektra or Daredevil movie.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I mean, I get it. She's the ex. She's the one that got away. She comes back into his life, and there's kind of this push and pull in that, he cares about her, and being around her more, it's going to open up some things and open up some wounds. So I get that. But I didn't like him being late and missing certain things. Although, I could see that happening. I didn't like that. But again,
I can see it happening to different characters, not Matt Murdock. Like, yeah, that felt out of character.
It did. It did feel out of character. It did feel out of character. I will give you that.
In the comics, even, he's had so many love interests. That's why I think the show, as we get through like Born Again season 1, him having all these different love interests over his Charlie Cox's time as Matt Murdock, it's on brand. Daredevil sleeps around in the comics a lot. Let's make that very clear. He sleeps around a lot. With a lot of different women. It doesn't even. I mean, between Karen and Elektra and the psychiatrist or therapist in Born Again, She-Hulk, and in the comics, it's those 4 and even more. The list is long.
Wait,
So,
there's more.
But he doesn't go out of character and ruin his reputation as Daredevil or Matt Murdock by doing any of that. He still goes about his business. That's where I didn't like this.
I think that is a major theme in that in this season, it really is Daredevil versus himself. He's trying to balance being a lawyer, being a Catholic, being a vigilante, his relationships, and they all begin to fall. Matt and Foggy, you know, they're Foggy doesn't want him to be Daredevil because Foggy lives in a world where the law handles everything, and that's just not realistic. But they bicker back and forth, and then I think the other part of it, Matt starts to shirk his responsibilities as Matt Murdock for Daredevil stuff, which irks Foggy, and I get that. And of course, Matt and Karen. Karen comes over and sees Elektra in the bed and just assumes the worst. I mean, to be honest with you, they hadn't slept together at that point. Matt's just helping her out, but Karen doesn't even give him an opportunity to explain himself. And this is what I didn't like about her. Now, the other side of that is if you're showing up late for work or you're not even coming to work, and this is a 3-person office, I can kind of see her kind of taking that attitude. I still didn't like it. But the other thing is, as we see the story of Matt and Elektra play out, we understand that Elektra likes his dark side. That what Elektra was attracted to in the beginning was the fact that he had a dark side. And he even says to her in episode 13 that, I've never felt more alive than when I'm with you. Let's just leave together. There's an excitement that she brings out in him that nobody else does. And I guess he feels like she understands both sides of him since she knows him as Daredevil and Matt. But I think this is a large part of his struggle during this season. Go ahead. You about to say something.
And that's another thing that feels so out of character for both Matt Murdock and Daredevil is that the number one thing, the reason he's Daredevil is because he wants to make the city a safer place.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy just wants to run away. Shut your face, bro. There's no way. There's no way at all that you actually feel this way. And that annoyed me. I remember that because I remember watching that for the first time and I'm like, oh, something bad's going to happen. I didn't think they were going to kill her off in that moment. I thought she was going to show up in season 3 and look, again, in terms of me watching the Netflix series, I didn't watch them until like COVID hit or after COVID. Right. So well after the show had already been canceled. So I'm watching everything for the first time and I'm watching and I'm like, they can't kill her off right now. Like something has to happen where like she kills someone that he loves and he is like, we can't do this or something. I felt like they were rushing to get her to die so that the defenders would happen. Which honestly, I actually like the fact that they resurrect her in the defenders. I like that a lot because I think that is on brand for Elektra. But I also using her as like a villain didn't care for that all that much. But just it felt Elektra felt like she was turning both Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock and Daredevil into a completely different character.
But it happens in relationships. That does happen in relationships.
But here's the thing.
No, I know it's not on brand. And I agree with you. I agree with you. But I agree with you. I'm with you.
So if he goes and kills someone and because of her, is then that because of the relationship? It's like he's going against his religious faith. He's going against his moral code. He's going against everything that makes him him.
I don't think he would do that. I don't think he would do that.
But that's what I'm pointing at, is that, like, at the end of the day, the number one priority for him is the city.
Right.
And so when he's willing to leave, that felt so off for me. Even when we watch She-Hulk and he's outside of New York, it just feels so weird. Just him not being there. And because it feels like everything that he's established, and that's why Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin is such a great adversary, because both feel the same way about New York in terms of they want to make it better for what they envision. While it's different in like visions for both of them, they both feel the same way about the city. So when I see them out of New York, I'm like, all right, this is kind of weird. And the fact that he's willing to leave, I'm just like, bro, no.
Well, let's give it some context. It's episode 13. They are about to face 100 ninja. And Matt is probably thinking, we're both going to die. So this is kind of a, if we get out of this type thing. You get what I'm saying? This isn't I'm clear-headed right now. I'm lucid right now. This is we're probably about to die. So he's really declaring his love for her, but I don't know that after that they would actually do that. He could have, but just to give it context, they are about to go on a suicide mission, right? That's but I agree with you. So much so that, Elektra, a lot of her, she encourages him to abandon the law. She encourages him to kill. She encourages him to leave freely without moral limits. And he does the opposite with her. He encourages her to not kill the kid, right? When the ninja breaks in his home and Matt knocks him out and says, "Oh, you're a kid," and she kills him, Matt is disgusted. Matt is, as a matter of fact, I think they temporarily separate for a second there when that happens. Doesn't she leave for a couple of episodes or whatever?
Yeah.
So there was this push and pull back and forward. I'll give you that. I will give you that. But I think Matt is ultimately Matt. I don't think he would have killed for her. To your point, that's a big thing with him. I don't see him doing that, because if you're not going to kill when you're fighting ninja, you're not going to kill.
And that's what I felt like with him. I felt like it was worse for him to say, "Let's leave." Like, I felt like if he killed for her, I would have believed that more than I believed he'd leave the city for her. Like, that's how far of a line that he crossed in saying that. And again, I don't care for this adaptation of Elektra at all. I think it's just not on brand with the character from the comics. And it inherently makes Daredevil change a lot of his own dilemmas. It almost feels like they should have just replaced Elektra with a different female character love interest. I don't know who that would have been, but it feels like that would have been better off.
No, I get it. But by the way, the Hawks have won 9 in a row. They are now 36-31 and sit atop your Philadelphia 76ers. I believe the Hawks.
Oh, the Philadelphia ER, yeah.
76ers, yeah.
The ER, yeah. They're currently there's wheelchairs currently outside the stadium for Paul George, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, everybody. So I don't even know who's starting tonight.
Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about your.
No, you brought him up. So
I'm just no. I brought up the fact that my Hawks are better than your Sixers. That's all.
You brought him up. You brought him up. You said no one cares, but you care to bring him up.
Oh man. Okay. let's talk about the interaction between Matt and the Punisher and how they develop a mutual respect for one another as the season goes on. But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the push and pull. I enjoyed the fact that the Punisher's like, look, man, you live in half measures. All right. You just keep rehabilitating these dudes, and they can't be rehabilitated. Daredevil, they just can't. What do you call them? Red. Red, they can't be rehabilitated. They just can't. You just keep putting these guys in jail. They keep getting out. What's the point? And when the Irish mob, comes to get him, and he's like, "Where's the money?" And he's like, "It's in a van." I'm saying to myself, I knew it was gonna blow up. I knew it was gonna blow up. I knew it because just the look on his face is like, okay, when it blows up is when he's gonna make his move, and that's absolutely what happens. And of course, Matt's there trying to come get him, and the two help each other out and escape, and they have this, back and forth about, whether or not you can rehabilitate criminals. And we see Bernthal does a great job of just portraying how damaged the Punisher's psyche is. Just how, because he really hasn't really grieved. He hasn't allowed himself to grieve because he's taken up the mantle of payback, and he's taken up the mantle of wiping out crime no matter where it goes. And he really hasn't allowed him to grieve. And when he starts to talk about his daughter and the fact that he didn't sing her this song before she went to sleep and she died the next time, I could relate to that, because when you lose loved ones, guilt is a part of it. I don't care what anybody says. It's just a part of it. And you got to learn to live with it. And so I think that Bernthal, to me, gave one of the best performances, because he is clearly a broken man, but he is a very, very, very savvy soldier. And, there's this juxtaposition of the two in this role. Just give me your thoughts on that, Jordan.
Well, it's crazy to see. It's cool to see, because when I see them interact in this scene, and then I see them interact in Daredevil Born Again season 1, you see the growth of the Punisher, because Daredevil goes to see Frank, but as Matt Murdock, and it's very apparent that, like, okay, they know each other's, like, that Frank knows Matt's secret identity, and people always wonder when that happened. And the belief is that in the courtroom scene in this season, when Matt first has Frank take the stand, and Matt is there and questioning Frank, and he says, "Can I call you Frank?" Frank gives him this look and says, "Yeah." And everybody points to that scene almost like, I know that voice and I know who you are. And you see him like make some looks around, like, yeah, like, I know who this guy is. And that moment forward, you're like, okay, we know Frank knows who this is. But what does Frank have to gain or lose by saying to everybody that, like, oh, this guy's Daredevil? He doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. So, but when Matt goes to Frank in season 2 of Born Again, or season 1 of Born Again, and Matt goes to him almost talking to Frank to be like, almost to try and get him to convince him to kill after Foggy dies, and try and convince him to go back as Daredevil. But Frank tells him, like, in that moment, like, you want me to convince you? You think, like I don't need to convince you. What you're doing as Daredevil, not killing, is completely fine. That's the growth of Frank Castle from this season to then. He's gone through so much that he's like, Frank basically says, we need more people like you. While we need people like me, we also need people like you. That's what I love about his character arc in general. But going to this season, that's where they butt heads. But
Yeah.
they need to butt heads to understand one another.
Yeah.
Daredevil doesn't agree with what Frank does, what the Punisher does, but he supports him. And vice versa.
Yeah.
Punisher doesn't agree with how Daredevil operates, but he supports him. And I love the way John Bernthal just goes about the entire character. I mean, also that one batch, two batch, penny and a dime. I say that sometimes when I'm playing like Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty. I'm about to snipe someone's head. Like I'm like, yeah, that I get into this mindset. I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm about to do. And when you hear him say that line, one batch, two batch, penny and a dime, that's when you know, yes. Oh yes. And that's so abundantly clear when we get into the Punisher series.
You about to get it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but John Bernthal as this character, I couldn't ask for a better Punisher. I think he fits the Punisher better than Charlie Cox finish is as Daredevil. That says a lot because I know a lot of people who like Charlie Cox's Daredevil. That's their favorite. That's their favorite actor and character combo. But like for me, I mean, I put John Bernthal's Punisher probably in my top 5 Marvel like character actor combos. I mean, I put him up there with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I put him up there with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I put him up there with Patrick Stewart's Professor X. I put him up there with Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. I put him up there with those guys because he just lives the role. And like in preparation for Daredevil Born Again season 1, he was out there with the other former Punisher. What the heck was his name? I didn't remember which Punisher it was. But
the blonde.
I don't
Punisher, not the one from Punisher Warzone, but the first.
No.
Thomas Jane, I think is his name.
I think he was with Thomas Jane. Yes. So they went to a shooting range and were just shooting guns. That's how John Bernthal gets into the role for the Punisher. He goes out to a shooting range and just starts unloading AK-47s, whatever guns, and he gets into like a military style of way of operating when he's at these ranges, and it's so impressive to see him lock into this character, because I mean he's doing method acting. He's trying to be the Punisher. And I love that. That's what I find so fascinating about this character. And also just his backstory in general. I think it's just the other Punisher movies I think are okay, but the way that the Punisher season 1 goes about his PTSD and trauma and goes about all of that it's heartbreaking, and that's what makes it like I honestly I think if you watch season 1 of The Punisher and then you go and watch like any Spider-Man movie to know Spider-Man's background, I think they are going to do so well together in Spider-Man Brand New Day, because I think they both know loss. They both know loss so well, and yeah. I think Frank Castle is going to teach Peter Parker or Spider-Man. I don't know if they're going to know each other's identity. I mean, Frank doesn't really have a secret identity. I don't know if he's going to know Peter's identity or not. Right. So when we get to that moment, if they do, I would love for them to have a conversation about loss, because they both have lost so much in life. And I think Frank could really teach Peter a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. Let's talk about some characters and their interfaces. The Punisher and Kingpin have this meeting, and just two great performers. And you know, Punisher says, "What do you want?" And Kingpin says, this guy may know who killed your family. And Punisher's like, basically, whatever, man. I don't trust you. And he's like, Kingpin says, are you helping me? Sure, you are. But it doesn't take away from the fact that this guy knows who killed your family. And because of that, the Punisher agrees to go and deal with the guy. And the Punisher goes, and true enough, he kills his henchman. And then he finds out the information, and then he kills the guy. And then all of the guards in the prison lock the doors, and they open the prison doors, and about 10 prisoners come at the Punisher. And let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. Jordan, let me tell you something, brother. That man right there, man. That man, the Punisher, takes on 10 guys, beats the snot out of them, kills most of them, and gets up and like, all right, guys, let me out. What are we doing? Where are we going next? And the Kingpin is like, well, I had to do it. I mean, it was just a better play. It was a smarter play. And so then the Kingpin comes back to him and brings him in there, and he's like, all right, take off his handcuffs or whatever. He's like, look, man, you can be mad at me if you want to. It was a smart play to kill you. But guess what? You've shown that you're more than capable. And he releases him. Okay? But for me, these two on screen together, these are two great actors going at it. Really enjoyed it. Let's talk about your thoughts on that interaction between Kingpin and Punisher in prison. I thought it was one of the best of the series.
Oh, this episode is the one title I will remember.
Yes.
It's called 7 Minutes in Heaven.
Yes.
And because it's all about that fight sequence, that 7 minutes where Punisher it's to the point he stabs a guy and then you see him like bleed, the blood squirt out onto Frank's face, and he smiles, and it's the most demonic thing that he could have done in that moment. I'm like, you're happy doing this, like you really like doing this. That's pretty insane. Just one of the greatest fight sequences I've ever seen in anything Marvel. Especially in that small of quarters, another hallway fight scene. In my opinion, even though this is Daredevil's show, this is the best fight scene from this season. Very clear and obvious. I had this episode rated at 9.5 out of 10. It's tied for
and it was.
So
it really was.
It's actually tied with the episode 3, which is New York's Finest, which is titled after the same comic book line between Daredevil and Punisher. So the interaction between Frank and Kingpin, I love it because Frank knows that he's like, I don't like this dude. I don't care how he doesn't care how high up he is. He doesn't care how high up anybody is. He doesn't care about them. But Frank knows that he's on a mission to defend his like family's death and or avenge his family's death, and Kingpin knows he can use that to his advantage. So it's like the enemy and my enemy is my friend sort of situation. So I love their interaction. Leading up to that episode, I do want to talk about the courtroom scene, the episode prior to Frank.
Where he loses it. I'm not crazy. Hell yes, I did it. I'd do it again. I'd kill all these sons of bitches.
When he says, when he loses it, and when the security guard, or the one security guard comes up and says to Frank something like, do what your family would want or something like that, to kind of flip a switch in his mind, and he's like he goes and he starts calling people maggots and stuff like that, and he's like you want to see the Punisher? Or I am the Punisher. And when he says that whole entire line of dialogue that he has, I had not seen Daredevil, but I had seen, I didn't even know the Punisher was in it. And I had seen a clip of that on TikTok or something. And it got me so hyped. I'm like, I have to watch the show. and I'm like, I really just want to watch The Punisher, and that scene alone is what got me to go and watch these shows, the Netflix series, because I got so hyped seeing him say that whole line of dialogue. It got me so fired up that I was ready to run through a wall. Like, and all this time, everybody's freaking out, the judge is freaking out, the security comes in to get him, and it's just it is a peak Punisher. That is the peak Punisher in terms of his dialogue.
Yeah.
And then we get peak Punisher when he's actually fighting in the jail cell, and fighting all those guys. And then after he beats up on all those prisoners, kills them all, then he goes in and now he's got to fight security guards. And I love how they end that interaction before Frank leaves and says, "Next time I see you, I'm going to kill you."
Right.
Or next time I see you, there's only going to be one of us that makes that alive or something like that.
Right.
And they would see each other one more time. And that is when Kingpin has Frank locked up in that little jail cell at the end of Daredevil Born Again Season 1. So he doesn't even have an opportunity to throw a punch at Wilson. So I am very curious when the next time we're going to see them both fight each other, because I get your popcorn ready. I don't think it'll be in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. I don't think the Punisher will show up in that season, which is kind of sad because I would have liked to see the Punisher interact with the other members of the Avengers, whether Jessica Jones is coming back. The rumor is the guy who played Luke Cage is coming back, and I'm leaning to 50-50 whether the guy who played Iron Fist is coming back. Because a lot of people, the public wants him back for justice for the character because they think he could do better under better writers. But the big question is it worth that? I don't know. So I would have liked to see that. Otherwise, we'll see him in the Punisher special. I doubt we'll see Wilson in the Punisher special. And we're definitely not going to see Wilson in Spider-Man Brand New Day because of contractual rights that he can't show up in a movie. So if we're going to, that whole part is sketchy. Like, I want to see Spider-Man and Kingpin together, and it's possible we're not going to ever get that. Which is a little frustrating. We would have to have
show up in a movie. What's this is news to me. What?
So Sony has some sort of there's some sort of rights issue with using Kingpin, and Vincent D'Onofrio's contract is based off of using him in all other projects that aren't Spider-Man related. So he could show up, and in his contract only shows 2. So I don't think I just don't think he would contractually be able to show up in a movie. I mean, there would have to be some sort of new contract and special clause, and I because he's already doing Daredevil Born Again 2 and being a main character. I mean, let's be honest. When season 3 of Daredevil starts on, there's co-leads in the show. It's Kingpin, it's Daredevil, it's Charlie Cox, it's Vincent D'Onofrio. They are co-leads.
Yeah, I think they even said that.
Yes.
I think they came out and said that. Yeah.
So, I mean, they were literally both on Hot Ones eating wings against one another. They both do all sorts of marketing together. They are. The show might as well be called Daredevil and Kingpin.
Right.
So I doubt he would even have time to do that. Especially if I mean, I don't know where the road is going to go after Daredevil Born Again Season 2. The rumor is they already greenlit a Season 3. So, but I haven't seen any official confirmation. I also don't know if any other shows might get greenlit depending on the success. I mean, in 10 days, Daredevil Born Again Season 2 comes out. If Jessica Jones has a great role and everybody loves her, and she's like hailed just like just like John Bernthal's Punisher. We might see Jessica Jones season 4 greenlit. I mean, who knows? We might see the Defenders season 2, depending on how this goes. That's my guess. You want my guess on what happens post Born Again season 2? Is that we see all the Defenders unite by the end of the show, and that leads into a new Defenders season, which gets all the Defenders together. We might see the Punisher in there, or a Defenders movie. We might see a Defenders movie come out, which would also be very interesting. I doubt that happens considering these are shows, and it would make more sense to just do a series instead of a movie. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. But otherwise, like getting back to the beginning of this, John Bernthal as the Punisher, Frank Castle, Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. Love their interactions. I cannot wait for the next time to see them both on screen together.
No, that was great. And then we had another great one, and that was when Matt goes to see Kingpin after the Punisher escaped, and Matt's like, Kingpin did it. And Matt kind of pushes him. You know, Matt does something we typically don't see Matt do. And Matt says, I can make it so your wife does not make it back into the country. And because of that, because to be honest, Kingpin is being smug. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And Matt figures if he makes him angry, that he'll tell the truth. And that's exactly what happened. Matt says, well, you know, hey, man, I don't have to physically hurt you to hurt you. All I got to do is file some paperwork. And she never makes it back in here. And you're not leaving New York, so you won't be able to be with her. And this pisses Kingpin off. He loses his cool in this moment, and it sets up season 3. And I don't know if Matt made a mistake there, but he pisses off Kingpin. But Kingpin admits to it. Give me your thoughts on this interaction, because this is also a very good interaction. It's a great scene. Kingpin grabs Matthew by the collar and slams him down, and you know, just hey, he's like, hey, man. And the other thing I like about this Kingpin, even in a limited episodes, he completely takes control of that prison. We see his savvy, his expertise, his acumen at being able to take over an organization. Wherever he gets into the prison, he finds out who has beef with who. He makes his alignments. He spends the better part of his resources, but once he sets it up, he's ironclad. He runs that prison, and he tells Matt, I run this prison. You can think you're going to come up in here and do something if you want to. I run this, buddy. Let's talk about this interaction. Jordan, what were your thoughts when you saw it?
Oh, I mean, I immediately thought, oh no, Matt, you are not big enough right now, and you don't have your suit, you don't have anything right now. I would not be doing this whatsoever. Everything you are doing right now is a very, very, very bad mistake. That's immediately, I just thought from the get-go of this, I was like, this is not good whatsoever.
It's a bad decision.
This was just stupid. And Vincent D'Onofrio is a big dude. So when he does all this, and like you see Matt try to like defend himself to try and like get out of his grasp, but Vincent D'Onofrio is such a big dude. He just gets him, and he's just got a hold on him.
You're not going anywhere, buddy.
Like, yeah, that was. I mean, it's so intimidating seeing Vincent D'Onofrio in this scene, and we see Matt, and Matt is probably at his most vulnerable physically in this season, in that scene. And even though Kingpin is the one in jail, And
Right.
we can tell, or I mean, Matt can tell right away that, like, I mean, Kingpin takes off the cuffs like it's nothing, and then immediately starts doing that. And by that point forward, Matt knows that, like, okay, he now has a hold of the guards, the prison
Right.
itself. Like, he is in control here. He's exactly where he wants to be. So, I mean, and for, like you said, that moment on, it sets up season 3. And in my opinion, Matt doing that just sets up Kingpin to know his secret identity,
Right.
because he wants more backstory. He wants more information on Matt then.
Matter of
You're
fact,
like,
he says that
yeah,
in this season. He says, "Pull
yeah,
up whatever files you have on." That's a
yeah,
bad move on Matt.
yeah,
Matt was clearly upset. He was clearly off. Again, he's doing a lot of things that are out of character because, quite candidly, I think he's just overwhelmed.
yes,
You know what I mean? I think he's overstimulated, overwhelmed, probably a little exhausted, and making bad decisions.
yes.
Um, yeah. So that yeah, man, that was interesting. So let's talk about so much to talk about. So much to talk about.
That's what's interesting about this season.
Yeah, there's so many plot
Is
lines.
there's a lot of plot lines, and that's why I think they should have just saved Elektra for another season.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have been a more straightforward plot, and I think I would have appreciated Elektra a little more if an entire season was dedicated to her and Stick in the Hand. Like,
Right.
do her the stick in the hand in a season 3, move season 3 to season 4, and put the Defenders after season 3.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, in general, this season just felt like, just like Age of Ultron. While I like all the plots, almost all the plots. It's just there's so much going on at times that it's just it can be too much to even do in 2-3 hours.
Yeah. No, you're right. You got the Punisher's war on crime. You got Elektra in the Hand. You got Matt Murdock's personal life collapsing. You got Karen Page investigating Frank Castle. You got the
All this
massacre.
Foggy is possibly going to be leaving. Like, he's basically setting up Foggy to leave for the same law group as what's her name in Jessica Jones. Like, I mean, the Karen's going and gonna end up being a writer or a reporter or something, or like something with a newspaper. There's so much going on.
Yeah, it is, and it's a lot. But again, I really enjoyed this season. For me, this season was about the characters and their interactions. Like, I really, there's certain moments where this was must see TV. This was just fantastic. Another thing I want to talk about is Stick coming back, and we see a different side of Stick. We kind of see Stick the dad.
Mm-hmm.
We see him come back for Maddie, and he's a little more compassionate, a little more. He comes back, he saves Elektra. He tells Matt that Elektra is Black Sky, and that there's no bargaining with her, there's no saving her. He tries to have Elektra killed when she doesn't listen to him, and she decides to go her own way. And Elektra comes back, and of course she wants to kill him, and Matt shows up to stop her. And I think one of the most endearing moments that we see from Stick is when Elektra decides, once the Hand show up, to help out Matt and Stick for one last time. And she and Stick are trying to escape, and Stick has to sit down for a sec because he's wounded. And he says, Matt didn't do this for me. He did this for you. No, he said, no, she asked him, do you still want to kill me? And he says, yeah. Because he's sick, right? He says, yeah. And she says, even after I did what I did, he says, yeah. He said, wow. He's like, look, and Matt is choosing you over me. He said, Matt's not choosing. Matt didn't come here for me. Matt came here for you because he knew if you killed me that you wouldn't come back from that. He came here for you. He came here because he's battling for your soul. He did not come here for me.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said that, she kind of gets this look on her face like, he really does love me. He really does care. And that's kind of what wins her over. But it's funny because he initially says, no, I can't kill you, because he'd get pissed off. And so we see in the first season, Stick was kind of devil may care. Like, he was kind of carefree when it comes to Matt. Like, hey, bro, you can either get on or not. It's fine. But as this season, we kind of see Stick the dad. We do. We see him say, I probably should have killed her a long time ago, but he was protecting her. But we see that he does care for both of them. And I thought that was interesting. Give me your thoughts on the interactions with Stick, with Elektra and Matt.
I mean, I don't know where the timeline comes in with like Stick mentoring Matt versus Stick mentoring Elektra, because it's possible. I mean, either way you can twist it. You can look at like if he had been with Elektra before he met Matt, then I mean, he could have just seen her as like, he could have been looking at Matt as like, I don't want to view Matt as a mistake, just like I did Elektra. So that's why he left Matt to fend on his own.
Right.
Or if he had seen in Elektra after Matt, he could have been viewing Elektra as, okay, I don't want to be the mistake I was to Matt. So I want to be better because of that with Elektra. So I think, I mean, at the end of this, I think Stick is clearly a girl dad. That's kind of what I get out of this. He wants to be tough on Matt, and he also knows Matt is I think at the end of the day, even though Stick doesn't agree with Matt's moral compass and not killing, he finds that as a strength in him.
Yeah.
That the reason even though he says it's a weakness, him continuing to fight Stick and prove him wrong is like he knows that he's strong-willed in doing that. And even though like anything he says, he's just saying for his own ego sometimes. So but sometimes he just says things bluntly, like, yeah, if he knew if you killed me, that you wouldn't be able to come back from this. That's why he's here. He's here for you, not me. And yeah, he was right about that. Also, the whole thing that her being Black Sky, let's pull up another plot point. She's the Black Sky. And we see this pointed out in season 1 about Black Sky. It's such it was also one of my lesser viewed episodes of season 1 was that kid being killed by Stick, who's the Black Sky, and we kind of never go back to that ever again. And then it comes back in this season. It's like, okay, we have a new Black Sky, and that just so happens to be Elektra. And there's not much. We don't really get much information on like what the Black Sky really is. Even in the Defenders, we don't see too much. So when Elektra comes in and we find out she's a Black Sky, it surprised me. I was like, oh, all right. But it also makes sense considering she's a psychopath. That just is willing to kill anybody. And that's, again, why I didn't really care for this version of Elektra. I just don't like her being a psychopath. I feel like you could create a more compelling character. Considering we already have a psychopath in the Punisher in this season, it just doesn't make... There's too many psychopaths. So that's what... You can have too many psychopaths in a show or a movie. And the Punisher should have been the only one that was the psychopath in all of this, which would have made him viewed more highly, because then it's like, okay, he's a big problem. but Elektra getting thrown in and her just killing like kids and stuff like that, and like she's just willing to kill anybody. I mean, it makes sense why she's a Black Sky because of all of that. I didn't care too much for that storyline, this storyline at all. Again, you could have made this season 3. It feels like season 2.5 sometimes when I'm watching this.
Okay, that's fair. I think what I liked about it is when he was like, he says, "Maddie, I'm proud of you." But you really, I mean, you could tell that was a lot for him. He is not effusive with his praise. And so for him to say that, I was like, well, I enjoyed that. I did enjoy that. So we're at that point, unless you have something else to discuss.
Well, we can talk about the final fight, the final battle.
Let's talk about it.
So, look, when I saw that they were going to be trapped up on the roof and stuff like that, like I had said earlier, I didn't think that she was going to die then. I thought it was a nice full circle moment, the whole scene in general of the whole season. Just having the Punisher like on a rooftop shooting people from a distance, and Matt getting his revenge on Elektra dying, and like Elektra dying, like it was a semi-emotional moment. I didn't I wasn't fully moved. I was more fully moved with Jennifer Gardner's death in Daredevil. So I just didn't care for the character that much. And maybe I'm a part of the minority with that, because I've seen a lot of other people review this show and they would like her version of Elektra. They think she's the best version of Elektra. I just don't care that much. I don't think it has anything to do with the actress. I think this is just I think she was miscast, or the writing was bad for this character. They were trying to push too many narratives into this one season, and I think this was one of them that they should have pushed to another season. But this final fight, the choreography in this season 2 in terms of the fights and stuff is way better than season 1. I love from all of them, from the Punisher to Daredevil to Elektra to Stick to Hand to everything. And then another part of this that we have to touch base on is that this sets up season 1 of the Punisher.
Yep.
And that we find out that the Punisher's old like drill sergeant or commander or whatever from the military was one of the guys who orchestrated his family's death. Yep. And we find out that it was an inside job. It wasn't just a mob or anything that we think it was to start the show, but it was an inside job of people the Punisher trusted, right, which sets up a very compelling season 1 of the Punisher, which I love season 1 of the Punisher. And it makes him, when he does end up killing him, it makes it that much better. And it also sets up, there's like a love square where we have Daredevil, we have Matt and Karen, we have Matt and Elektra, but we also have Karen and Frank. And it's not too much of a love interest. And I think by Daredevil Born Again season 1, it's more of we don't really know. It's like it's almost an unspoken thing that like Frank loves her, but I don't know how, and I don't think we'll fully know like how he loves her, but Frank clearly trusts Karen, and for Frank to trust anyone says a lot. And I mean, we see her show up in Daredevil in season 1 of the Punisher. We see her show up in we see them both interact in Daredevil Born Again season 1, and it's just, and in fact, I know a lot of people that would love to see Karen and Frank end up being together, because it seems right for Frank's character, but I don't think it feels right for Karen's character. I think Karen and Matt are just the end game. And I mean, it is what it is with that. But yeah, this sets up season 1 of the Punisher. sets up season one of the Defenders. The way this ends, it makes it very abundantly clear that Elektra still is dead, but will be resurrected. And I mean, yeah, we set up, like I said earlier, it feels like Age of Ultron almost, where there's so many plot lines, but it sets up so much, and it sets up greater things going forward with the Punisher season 1, with the Defenders, and Daredevil season 3.
Yeah, agreed, man. Agreed. You will get no disagreement from me there, sir. Excuse me. We got to talk about the rating, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we have done a lot.
Yes, we have.
I was looking at that. You know what? I was looking at the channel, which those of you who are watching, it is For My ATL Movies on YouTube. Again, the number 4, My ATL Movies. I think we've done over 100 movies and shows, I think, looking at the channel, which is a lot just doing this over the weekend. Like, we've done... Okay, so I've got 111 videos on here. I think about 95 of them I've done with you. 96. So we've done a lot. But anyway. So again, for me, I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed this more than I thought I would. I don't remember season 2 being so good. Because you know what threw me? Jessica Jones season 2 and 3 were so bad.
Yes.
They were so bad. Oh my God. And Luke Cage season 1 and 2. I like Luke Cage season 1 and 2. Kung Fu
Iron Fist.
Yeah, that dude. I'm not even gonna say it. So I've forgotten how good Daredevil was.
Mm-hmm.
And so watching this, it kept getting better. Now there was a lull with the Elektra. I'll give you that. There was a bit of a lull with the Elektra, because it just felt like out of left field. Like I wanted to see him and Karen, and it's just like, oh my God, he just snatched that right from under.
Ooh, one other thing that we didn't even point out: the last scene of this entire season.
Oh, where he tells her he's Daredevil.
He says, he pulls out the helmet and says, "I'm Daredevil," and then it cuts to black. Because I had been wondering, I'm like, is he ever gonna tell Karen? And I was like, by the time this season ended, I was like, all right, he's probably not gonna be telling Karen this season. But then we cut to him in the office, and I'm like, he's gonna tell Karen here? He's gonna tell Karen here, and that's a great way to end this, because I mean, I don't like the way that they talk about it in the Defenders. I felt like it could have been more extravagant, but it sets up for bigger things going forward, and I'm glad that he ended up telling Karen.
But she's such an overreactor. Oh my God, she's dramatic. She overreacts it. I already know. I don't even remember, but I already know. I know half the season she's gonna hate him, and she just overreacts. Like let me tell you something. I couldn't deal with Karen every day, Jordan. I couldn't do it.
Why her name's Karen?
And with that, I'm gonna give the rating. So for me, this was wow, boy, you drop zingers, man. You don't even warn people. You just drop them. Damn.
I don't drop anything, by the way.
Yes,
I catch everything.
You drop zingers. That's not true. You drop bombs is what you drop. I gave it an 8.5. And it's right under Captain America. I'm sorry. No, it's not. Oh, no. I gave it an 8. I I can't rate that better than Captain America. But it's right under Captain America, the First Avenger.
So one of your 500 8 out of 10s?
Yes, one of my.
You said below the First Avenger.
Oh, wait. That's the First Avenger? Oh, no. Yeah, let's give that an 8.5. It's just above the First Avenger. Okay, let's give that 8.5. I thought that was a Winter Soldier, but I forgot I gave that a 10. So yeah, it's 8.5. It's definitely an 8.5. I enjoyed it.
All right. I mean, I don't want. I kind of hinted at like what I'm giving it. I already told you going before we started that I do think this is better than season one. I think it is very clearly better than season one. I like season one. I think season one is good. It's a great starting point. But we get into peak moments. Again, it's like I said, season three it starts off great and plateaus with greatness. It is one of the greatest seasons of television I've ever watched. Not even Marvel related to. And with season two, I think their peaks will get to as high as season three. But there are just moments where it drops down a little, like with Elektra. Like I said, there's a 3-episode stretch where I gave episode 5 is the lowest rated episode. I gave that a 5 out of 10. That's the episode where we get flashbacks of Elektra and Matt meeting for the first time. And I mean, Karen's going and doing her own thing, but there's not much that we get in this episode, and I don't care for that all that much. That's why it's just a 5 out of 10. It's just it's something to move the plot along. It felt like a filler episode, and then episode 6 I had 7 out of 10. Episode 7, 6.5 out of 10. There's that stretch is just for me not good, but it's heavily focused on Elektra stick in the hand. But I mean, there are 2 episodes that are 9.5s out of 10. Episode 3, episode 9, those are peak moments for me. I mean, some of there's so many great moments in this season, and that are way better than anything I see in season 1. That will be the reason I will revisit this more than I would revisit season 1. For that, I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. The average rating for it was an 8 out of 10. I mean, like I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 13 episodes I gave 9 out of 10s or higher. So there was just so many great moments and great episodes. There wasn't the consistency, and there was a little too many plots going on, which led to it falling to an 8 out of 10. I have it just below X-Men First Class. I think First Class is a straightforward story with not many plots, and that's why it's a little higher than that. And it's also a movie versus a show. There will be times where I'm rating movies higher than shows just because I would rather watch just a 2-hour-long movie than 13 hours of a show.
That's fair.
So, and that is a criticism I will have with a lot of things, and it leads to why episodes like 5 through 7 end up being so low, because if you make this like a 2 to 3 hour long show,
it's probably a 9.
Yeah, it could have been. And I would rather watch. I don't want to waste that time watching those stupid little silly episodes. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Otherwise, I really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait for us to get to season 3. I cannot wait.
Well, my friend, we are moseying right along. It's incredible the pace that we're moving at, man. Let's see what we got coming up next. Where did I put the schedule?
Luke Cage season 1
on Tuesday, right?
Yes.
I need to find that schedule. Gosh darn it. Is this it? This is it. Dang it. I had made some additions to it. I don't know what I did with it. Okay. All right, so we got Luke Cage, and then what all do we have next week?
Let me take a look at that. So we got Luke Cage season 1, which I love the Luke Cage character. I love Mahershala Ali as an actor, and I like his character in it, but I think overall the rest of the show I don't care for all that much. After Luke Cage season 1, we have Iron Fist season 1. Then we have the Defenders. So we'll be getting into the Defenders this week. And then we shift to a completely separate universe for the first time in a while, and we get to do Deadpool.
Okay. All right, that'll be fun. So we got a lot of series. Oh God.
Yes. But after we get done the Defenders, there's going to be a pause for a week, and then we'll get at where there's just movies, and then we'll get back into a couple series here and there. But when we get into the month of May, where we get into a long stretch, then we'll get back into the series and finish up all the Netflix series. But May will be a big month. We get into finishing Netflix series. We get into Avengers Infinity War. We get into X-Men Days of Future Past. We get into Avengers Endgame. And we get into, some of the greatest Marvel shows, seasons of shows ever. With Loki, with WandaVision, with Daredevil Season 3. The month of May is going to be a fantastic month.
Well, I'm super excited, man. I was trying to find that other schedule, but whatever. We'll get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it. So, hey, as always, Jordan, thank you for doing this, man. This is so much fun. You know, I enjoyed doing this with you, and I can't wait to come back on Tuesday and let's get after Luke Cage, man. So I think it's Tuesday, Luke Cage, Thursday, Iron Fist,
Saturday, The Defenders.
So we're not doing one on Friday. Okay.
No, none on Friday. Saturday, The Defenders. Sunday, Deadpool.
Okay, that makes sense. So Tuesday, Luke Cage, Thursday, Iron Fist, Saturday, Defenders, Sunday, Deadpool.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, hey, my friend. As always, thank you for joining me. To those of you who did watch us, you can see us at For My ATL Movies on YouTube. Again, the number 4, My ATL Movies on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. Have an amazing day. May God bless you and heaven smile upon you. And we will see you on Tuesday. Good night, everybody.
This movie was about
Lights, camera, action is going down. For my ATL movies, when we run this town with your host, T-Will, yeah, keeping it real. From the A to the screen, you can feel the thrill. Rolling with the classes, we're setting the pace. Highlighting the magic of our soulful space. Got the vibe, got the crew, making it tight. When the screen lights up, everything feels right. Grab your popcorn, let's make it loud. T-Will, T-Will. It's movie time, ATL style. Stand proud. From the silver screen to the hearts we steal. T-Will, T-Will. Every frame we capture is a real deal. Yeah. Talking premieres where the stars align. ATL views, yeah, they really shine. Behind the